Hello everyone. Thought I would give a little more in-depth look at our behind the seat air compressor mount for the Jeep Gladiator. Now this is the mounting plate that goes behind the seat. It will hold the ARB Twin compressor or the ARB Single Compressor, depending on what hole pattern you're using here. The center ones on the bottom here are the Single Compressor. So what you got when you come and you have your ARB Twin, your Twin does come with mounting screws already in the base of the compressor. And it's super simple to set up and to get this installed. Now, one thing you might want to do, depending if you want to have your air filters on top or on the bottom, if you want them on the top, you do need to loosen up the screws here on the side that hold the blue casing. And then once you get that loosened a little bit, you can shift the inside of the air compressor depending on how high you want it to pull to get these set up correctly, and then just tighten your black screws back on the blue casing to get that set up. But once you do that, I mean, simple as taking the air compressor mount, setting it on the back. You got your 4 10mm bolts that go into what we're utilizing. The ARB Twin does come with 8 different holes in the base of the compressor. So you're going to want to use the 4 inside holes. And once you get that set up, you're going to have a 10mm nuts that go on here to tighten these down. That tightened. And there you go. All of about 2 minutes to install our mount onto the ARB Twin compressor. And then it does come with the mounting hardware, because it does utilize these holes. Once you set it down in the cubby that's behind the back seat, you have a 1-inch metal spacer that goes underneath and then actually bolts down with some fender washers that holds this in place, keeps it nice and sturdy. And as you can see, everything is just mounted on there. Got my custom Jeremy model here. That way I don't sell you guys my prototype, or not prototype, but my prototyping compressor mount that I use in and out of the truck all the time. Now, the other thing I wanted to show is that, for one, when I was putting this together, I designed this plate so that it will essentially let you mount either the ARB Locker Manifold along with the compressor behind the seat, or you can do a single or a dual air setup, which we also offer. So we have a different kit for if you want the ARB lockers to go behind the seat, or a single and dual air compressor set, or air coupler setup. And again, this plate, super simple. And what it does, when you're using the ARB Twin, it's just going to use the same size 10mm bolts, and it utilizes the outside holes on the compressor itself to mount the plate. So you get that set up. Again, same size bolts that we will have in the kit to mount this to the compressor. 10mm, getting that tightened up. Now, the different setups that we have, what we did is we utilized this plate, which it comes with the under the hood compressor mount. This is actually the same plate that mounts on the front of that air compressor under the hood mount. So we wanted to utilize this one. For one, it makes less parts that we have to design for different pieces, but also lets us use same part, same hardware for setting this up, and just makes it more versatile overall with all the different parts that we have. So what we do with this one, we can set it up with either a single or a dual air coupler, and it does have the spot for your rocker switch also. And pretty much everything that I design, I set it up to work with what is the ARB JIC-4. I call it the flush mount ARB air coupler, because that way it utilizes the 3/4 inch nut, and it lets you bolt directly into the plate itself. So it makes it nice and clean, makes it low, keeps it low profile, and then you have it there. And this one's, it's again, real easy to set up. We got 16 by M6 by 16 screws that hold this little guy on into place. Bolts directly onto the backing plate. Got 2 of those. The kit comes with all the hardware that you need. It's all stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Once you get those on, get it into place, you're going to take your 4mm Allen wrench, again 10mm wrench on everything. Get those into place. Drop that low. And there you go. Again, simple install. Puts it in place, and then you have your plate to hold your air coupler and your rocker switch. Now, as far as setting up your air lines, it does, if you, again, you get the single kit, you get one of the JIC 4 air couplers, you get one 90-degree elbow, and then you get one 20-inch Grimm off-road. These are good air lines, just as good a quality as the ARB ones. The one thing you do want to do before you do set this up is you might want to go in and actually the instructions that come with your ARB Twin will instruct you and show you how to do this. But you basically loosen this upper casing on the compressor, pop it loose, and then you loosen the air manifold that's inside of the ARB Twin. And that way you can actually, once you see here, you can position this in a few different spots on where you want it. Now, we do recommend that you put it in a spot to where it actually comes more down to the side, because you actually get more clearance by doing so from the back of the seat that's going to be on there. So once you get that in place, get that tightened back down, put your casing back on. Again, you know, if it's something that when you're before putting all this together on the compressor plate. And then you have your air line. And once you get that tightened down, I won't tighten all the way down just by demonstration purposes. Take your 20-inch line. Get your 20-inch line set up here. Move that over to the air coupler. Here we can see it a little better. That tighten to your air coupler. You can then tuck this in a little bit, keeps it out of the way some. And then there you go, there's your single air line set up. Then you put your rocker switch in, you got all of your wiring and stuff right here. So essentially all you have to do is run all your wiring from either, well, if you're putting your rocker switch and stuff here, which I personally recommend doing just because if you don't have the auxiliary buttons that are up front to use, you don't need to worry about it. You've got your rocker switch and stuff that's back here. Plus, if you utilize putting your switch and stuff back here, then you don't have to worry about taking up one of the auxiliary switches that's inside the cab. And again, when you want to use it, you drop your seat, you got everything right there. You just, you know, hit the switch, plug in your air hose, good to go. So that's your single airline setup. Now you can also do a dual airline setup. And what we'll do here is we'll take this one loose. Let's see. I need to grab one of my twin one switch here. Now the dual air kit will come with also having a splitter. That way you can run 2 air lines off of the 1/4-inch setup that's on the air compressor itself. So once you get that set in, now this kit does come with, when they do a dual kit, the dual kit comes with obviously 2 air lines. It also comes with along with the splitter that goes into the compressor. It comes with two 90-degree ARB compressor fittings, or compression fittings. Now what that's going to do is you're going to set up, you got one line that's going to run directly to the splitter. So once you get that set in there, and there's different ways that you can do this, but this is the way that I came up with because I thought it was the cleanest. Now what you're going to do with then is that you'll take these two 90-degree fittings, screw them together. We're going to create a 180-degree turn for this airline. So then once you get that into the second spot here on top, what that does then gives you the ability to, for one, let's put our other air coupler in to our setup here. Again, quick and easy, bolts right in, 3/4 inch hole. Got your dual air coupler set up. And then you gotta take your other airline, we'll set that one up on the air coupler. Run it the same way over here to this dual setup that we're gonna do. And once you get all these nice and tight, it won't move around like this, but again, for demonstration purposes, just showing you the possibilities. Now what that then does is then you have a dual air setup. So you have your splitter coming out of the air compressor, which then goes into the two 90-degree elbows, making you a 180-degree turn for the second airline. Both airlines come over, so then you have dual air couplers. You can run one line to one side of the truck, the other one to the other side of the truck, and be able to do all four tires if you're splitting off the airlines on each side. So you can do that on both. So that makes it pretty easy. Now, what we can also do now, so this is our dual airline kit. Like I say, we have a single airline kit, we have the dual airline kit, we also have the Locker Manifold kit. And I'm doing this all in one video just to show how easy it is to set everything up, because it's quick and simple. You get everything in one spot. It takes no time. Really, the hardest part about installing this whole setup is really your wiring. Because putting it together and getting it all set up on the compressor and stuff itself it's very simple. And as I'm doing this, just remind everyone that all of these parts, everything that we make is aluminum. All the parts for this compressor setup is 1/8 inch powder coated aluminum. We will not use steel. Just kind of refuse to use steel. After so many Jeeps and buying steel parts and watching them rust within a year of paying thousands of dollars for something, I just refuse to use steel. I know in turn, I know it does actually make us, for one, we're a smaller company, but then it also does make our costs a little bit higher just because they are aluminum. We are a smaller company. We kind of look at ourselves honestly as more of a boutique company than necessarily anything else. As far as going into the big stores and all that stuff, I'm not sure that we'll ever make it into those, only because we just don't have the volume yet to do those things. Maybe someday, but to us, customer service is number one. I like to say, I've been saying it to some people online, it's like, we basically sell you customer service. You just get some cool parts that go with it. A lot of people will say, you know, our hours are these hours and don't call us on the weekends. If you do try calling them or emailing them on the weekends, you don't get a reply until Monday. That is not the case with us. I am online all the time. My phone is always dinging. If you have a question about one of our parts, email me, and it's very likely I'll get back to you within just a couple hours, if not faster. We do take pride in the fact that we want to give someone a product that, for one, a product that we would want to buy. But we just, you know, we know people are spending their money. We're spending good money on trying to get their stuff set up. And for one, that's one of the bonuses about using aluminum, especially for our molly panels and stuff in the bed. You buy them once, you pay for them once, and they're not going to rust. and they are super strong. All right, so what we got now, go back to the base plate. You don't utilize this plate because you're buying the manifold kit, so you won't get that actually. What you do get is you will get the whole ARB manifold kit, which it does come with a couple fittings and an airline that you actually will not use, just because. And I tried to get it set up to where you could use the actual airline that comes with the locker manifold, but in order to keep it nice and clean and to keep it set up right, that is behind the seat and not touching stuff, we have to utilize a little bit longer airline. So what this has is it has dual holes on the top of it to be able to work with the ARB manifold. And I'm just going to set up with one screw for right now just to be able to show you how it all mounts. But this again goes in and mounts same way the other plate does. Just bolt it up to it. And these add-on kits, they are sold separately. So if you have already purchased one of our behind the seat mounts, you will be able to buy this as an add-on kit and to put it in exactly the same way. You just have to, take your compressor mount back out, do a few little small tweaks to it, and then set this up. Again, super easy. You get your manifold mounted. Now the way I've got it set up here, I've got the 1/4-inch air output coming straight forward, and then the solenoid holes that are underneath the manifold. That way you have all this area under here for your airlines for your solenoids and to be able to have those hanging down. So what we will use then is that this kit does come with 2 of the 90-degree elbows. Actually 3, just 2 of the ARBs, and then 1 that is a brass fitting that we will utilize on the manifold itself. Get this started. Tweak this around just a little. All right. So you take your one of your other 90-degree elbows. One thing I see here, utilize this and scoot it over slow more. Now, depending on how you set this up, you may want to do all these setups beforehand, because I'm going to take off my air filter cap in order to get this guy on. So you have your 190-degree, and I won't tighten this all the way down. And then your second ARB 90-degree. Get that set up. Put our cap back on. And then once you have your airline over here, tweak this a little bit more. And we're going to add on our 20-inch airline. Get that set up. And that's going to go directly over to the manifold, which again bolts directly into everything. It's all nice and simple. Again, the hardest part is going to be on this one, running all your electrical, running all your solenoids, running your airlines to your lockers. As far as setting this part up, this is the easy stuff. So you got that. Now this one does come with the 1/4-inch NPT ARB air coupler, and that one will mount into the top. And that way, that's a little loose right there. Let me tighten that up a little more. This tweaked around. A little hard working upside down. There we go. Get that back up. Get our filter back on. 1/4 inch. So now, with the locker manifold setup, like I say, you get your 2 different ARB 90-degree air fittings, the brass air fitting for the air coupler itself. So then again, behind the back seat, you've got your complete air locker setup, all kinds of space here for setting up your solenoids and everything to get your lockers going. But again, nice, everything tucks in nice and neat, got plenty of space. You know, with all these, we do recommend that you drop the seat. And that's the other bonus of why we put these kits together, is you drop your seat and everything's there for you to do it. Just because, I mean, and I know some people may be in a situation to where they can't necessarily drop their seat. We have seen a few customers actually buy some stick-on heat shield that goes on, you know, just a sticky back heat shield that they apply to the back of the seat, which helps kind of keep some of that close proximity heat off the back of the seat. So that's the locker kit. So that's our 3rd kit. Now, a couple other things to note. I'll move a few of these things out of the way so you can't see it. Is that once you are, it's going to be kind of hard to do with the manifold kit, just because you need this space to utilize this space for your locker solenoids. But if you have the other regular air setup, you do have this extra grid that's under here, and I put that there in case for some reason, you know, somebody may want to mount a fuse block or something. So that gives you some more space to mount a fuse block or any other couple little items that you might want to put back there, or something as far as helping with your wiring setup, anything. I've had one customer actually use one of our under seat switch plates, and they utilized that whole setup for fuse blocks. And then because they were doing a bunch of different stuff with the refrigerator and stuff that they had. Now, one other thing to note is, like, you know, I do know that we have some people that are running just the single compressor. Now, you can actually use this same setup to be able to have your air coupler and switch on the back with your single compressor, and I'll show that what we want to do there, just in case you don't have the ARB Twin. It's still very flexible, very versatile for what you can use it for with the single compressor too. Just get this manifold out of the way so we can show you a little bit better. So the only difference is if once this plate, I'll pull everything off really quick, make it a little bit easier to explain this. So we get, this plate comes back off. Just set that there. Take our twin compressor back off really quick. And one thing you might notice about this video, you're not going to see a lot of jumping in the video, because I kind of look at it as one take Johnny. I don't want to sit here all night editing video. I think, for one, you know, I'm human. Most people are human. I don't need to necessarily sit here and make a whole edited video. I know it might take a little bit longer to do a couple little things. We're looking at about 24 minutes right now. In that 24 minutes, though, I've just shown you how to mount the compressor to the plate. I've shown you how to set up 3 different types of air setups that we have. So it's really simple to set this stuff up. So if you don't have the twin compressor and you're utilizing the single compressor, what you can do, find my other little screws here. We got one more nut here. There you go. This plate can still, once you get it set up here, flip these over. And the way I did it was I wanted it set up so you could do this for the single. You can actually screw this same plate directly onto the compressor plate. and still be able to utilize all of the single or dual air setup if you're running a single compressor. Didn't want to leave you guys out because technically I use a single compressor myself. I do more biking, mountain biking, road biking and stuff than I do actual off-roading. So I'm not dropping my air pressure in my tires as much. So the single compressor actually works really well for me. If you've seen our, if I put the right screw in there, it might help. If you saw our bed-mounted compressor enclosure, that's actually what I'm running in my truck with the single compressor in it. One more big washer here. All right, and that's all you need to do. And everything is slotted, so it does give you the ability to adjust stuff on how you want it. But if you have your single compressor set up on here and you want to be able to utilize the plates and everything for the single and dual air setup, you mount the same plate on the top, mount your single compressor on your holes here, good to go. So that pretty much, I mean, that's the whole look at our whole behind the seat setup on what we've got. I wanted to make it as simple as I could, simple install, as strong as I could, because I believe it needs to be nice and stout, which is why the way we set this base up, and it's got the full base that sets into the cubby, keeps it nice and strong. And also between bolting in with that and then setting back towards the wall, it's pretty much in there really well. Again, 1/8" aluminum, powder coated, very versatile with what you can do to set it up. If you have any questions, 813fabrication.com if you're interested in buying one. You will be able to choose any of the air kits that are set up for it, single, the dual, the manifold kit. Check out some of our other stuff. Check out the molly panels and our under seat storage bin that has the locking brackets on it to lock those rear seats down. But yeah, 813fabrication.com, 813fabrication on Instagram, 813fabrication on Facebook, and on YouTube. So we try to get into most of them. We actually, my wife actually handles the TikTok stuff. She likes to do the TikTok videos and get those things in there for us. So yeah, we got all these things. We're always trying to make some new stuff. We're going to be working on more new stuff. If you have any questions, just email me. Try to reach through Facebook. I'm always online. Like I say, I will answer you fairly quick. But if you have any questions, let me know. So thanks a lot.